Hi, in this video we'll look at how to do data mapping of a document array in Amplify Fusion. Now the document array could be a JSON body that was a post. It could be a body that you're getting ready to post to a backend API. It could be the rows of a CSV file. So let's take a look at our data. So I've got customers.json, a sample file of some customers. And you can see it has a property customers, which is an array where you have customer ID, first name, last name, and email. And I want to map that into this map customers format where you see you have a client. Again, it's an array, and we've got an ID, full name, and contact. And we can compare these here. Again, this is the customer, so I'll map customer ID to ID. I'll need to figure out how to deal with first name and last name to create a full name, and then the email will just be the contact. So let's take a look at this in Amplify Fusion. So I will create a sample integration called hello document array map. And let's put a scheduler here so we can run this with the test button. I won't activate it. So I'll just set it to 60 seconds. And let's declare some variables here. So I've got a map component. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to declare a variable to hold my data. So this is going to be a string. And this is my customer data. But it's as a string. And let's take this customer data. Let's minify it. We don't need to, but this way it'll look like it came in on a post. And let's grab that. Okay. And let's set that data. Set value. All right. Let's also create a variable to hold our response. So let's do a few things here. At the project level, let's create a data object for the customer orders. The customers. So let's come down here, call it customers, and I'll use the file as a sample. And this is my customer data. Create. And you can see here it's got a property called customers, which is an array. And let's take a look at the response. It's going to be map customers. Let's create a data object called map customers. And let's grab that file as a sample, map customers, create. And you see it's just clients and it's got 3 properties. All right, so the first thing we need to do is create a variable to hold our output. So I'm going to call this data object reference, and I will grab the mapped customers, and let's call that map customers. All right, let's save that. So the first thing I need to do is I need to parse my input data. So let's do a JSON parser read. And this is customer data. And customer data string holds that. And you see the response is going to look like this. So this is just JSON parsing that string. And now we can do the mapping. Now you might think we need to use a for each or a for loop, but we don't need to do that because in Fusion I can map data, if it's simple mapping, at the array level. So this is a component I'm going to use for mapping. And let's expand the output over here. Let's expand the customers over here. And customer ID is just going to be dragged over to ID. And then email is going to be dragged over to contact. And now we just need to figure out how to deal with first name, last name, and full name. Since we can do this in a single map function or a multi-step function, I can still remain and use the map component. I don't need to use our data mapper. So let me plus sign here, and we can create a new multi-step function called full name, and click create. And this has an input of first name and last name. So string inside first name, string inside last name, and the output of this multi-step function will be the full name. And if you don't remember how multi-step functions work, you can go see we did a video on this before. You can take a look at that video. So what we need basically is take the first name, add a space to it, and then take that and concatenate it with the last name. So the first operation is a concat. And I have a concat map function, and it takes the first name, and I can see the first name, and I'll concat it with a space. I just hit the space bar, click save. Now let's add another concat function. And here we simply take the output of the first and concatenate that with the last name, and then that is our output. And if you remember the multi-step function, we don't see the lines, but we can actually see the connections just by hovering over this link. So let's save that, and if you recall, we can test it, and I can just say Lior Brenman, do a quick test, and there it's a full name. Okay, that works great. So let's come up here, let's grab full name, let's grab the first name and the last name, and call that full name. And again, I don't have to loop over this. I will have a number of clients that's equal to the number of customers with the map data. And let's test this, and come down here, and if I look at my mapped customers, say I've got 5 of them. If I look at customers, I've got 5 of them. If I look at the first one, it's ID 101, customer ID 101. And here I have ID 101, and then I have the full name as Alice Johnson and the email. And if I go down to the last, there you go. So this was a simple example to show how we can do simple document array mapping, and we do not need a for loop. We'll build on this example, and I'll show some more complex mapping using document arrays. Thank you.